welcome back to the GR Wisdom channel. I want to thank all you guys for tuning back in, new and old subscribers, and if you're just now clicking on one of my videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button along with the bell. That way you receive all the notifications for all my future videos. So without further ado, I'm going to be discussing this topic or this recent event of this NBC vice president and what transpired the early part of this week. So with this topic is basically, about certain men and women as well who can't deal with rejection or, the whole divorce process, and they basically, they fly off the deep end and come into an altered state of mind and do things that you wouldn't normally think that people would do, the far end with this. These men that do this can't deal with their emotions. Women also in this aspect, but for the purpose of this, I'm just discussing these type of men and this issue that happens here who can't deal with their emotions, which is, I think, in my opinion, is one of the greatest things, the greatest assets that you can have or possess, is for someone to be able to, navigate through life and be even-tempered. Regardless of what, good or bad, they're able to be in control of their emotions and not, go to the far end and do, impulsive things that can be to their detriment. So, and this is especially during divorce that we see things like this, where people just, because of the actions that go on and, and me personally, I know how it feels to be in these places and having to obviously come to terms with dealing with your emotions. So, in this case, this is about a unsuspecting, you'd be unsuspecting upper class black family in a suburban private community, and obviously they're an accomplished family. The gentleman who we're talking about, his name is Neil White. He's 47 years old. He's a writer and a political consultant, and his wife, her name is Rochelle Hord. She is actually a vice president for NBC talent acquisition. So these are both obviously, well-to-do, successful people, who are going places in life. Still young at the end of the day. They have had a young 7-year-old daughter named Gabrielle, who's in the 2nd grade. So basically, just to bring it to it, they this past Tuesday, which was June 6th, in New Rochelle, New York area, the babysitter of Gabrielle received a text message, some disturbing text messages from Neil, the father of Gabrielle. Right. So these, her name is Tonette Mahon, or however you want to say it, and she rushes over to the house. This is a school day, obviously, but she rushes over to the house because of these text messages that Neil sent. So once she got inside the house, she's calling out for Neil and Gabrielle, and, I guess she comes across Neil, who basically, looks like a deer in the headlights, and his wrists are bleeding. So either he inflicted some kind of, self-injury or try to commit suicide. His wrists are bleeding. And when she asked, where's Gabrielle, he says she's over in her room sleeping. So she comes across Gabrielle. Gabrielle is unresponsive and just basically just laying there. She's not breathing. So at this point, Tonette automatically contacts the mother, Rochelle. And she rushed home to this and basically highly distraught. Obviously, the police are called, and, she wants to see her daughter and is unable to see her daughter, obviously, because the police and paramedics, whoever got the place, blocked off. So you can just imagine a mother coming into this knowledge, of this going on. This all comes from, these two are obviously separated. She filed for divorce. Rochelle filed for divorce back in April from this man, and this, I'm assuming this can only stem from a previous, incident back in January where there was a domestic violence issue or domestic dispute at their residence. So they were both, she filed for divorce in April. They're separate, living in separate residences, but they have joint custody of Gabrielle at this point. So they're trying to co-parent or whatever you want to call it. And just the day prior to this happening, with this incident earlier this week, on Monday, he agreed to, I guess as part of the settlement or whatever, to, you know, render the family home to Michelle so that she could keep it. So everything, obviously, I'm assuming from a woman, from her standpoint, that it'd be unsuspecting, even though she obviously divorced this guy for a reason, because she saw some issues. I don't know how long they were married for, but she saw some issues with that. So that's why she decided to take it to that point of April. So they've only been officially, since she filed for divorce, for 2 months. So with this being said, we look at this whole picture of this man with the information that we're given, and she was supposed to be at school that day. He deliberately kept her home. So this sunken place, so to speak, that he was in, for someone to do this to their own child, for them to smother their own child, which is basically what he did. You know, however, he either, you know, strangled her, whatever. He smothered her where she, you know, he decided to take her life. Obviously, the way I see it, it was done to punish his wife. And I hear about this a lot. I see this a lot. And I actually I had a conversation about this yesterday. People, and for those of you who have watched my videos where I discuss this constantly, people will do things just to hurt the other person. It doesn't even matter if the kids are involved. The kids are collateral damage at the end of the day. As long as they will shoot themselves just to hurt you, or, you know, if you're standing behind them, they would put a bullet through their own body just to shoot you, so to speak. They'll do anything to terrorize you and harm you, even if they're losing their child in the process. And this is, you know, the mental capacity that, you know, that this person has, and for them to sink to that degree of evil where they would go to this. He went to the extreme because he knew that this would hurt his wife. You know what I'm saying? And I guess whether cowardly or not, he was a coward because he couldn't follow through with taking his own life, and he was a coward for doing it in the first place. You know, he was seized, as you will, by the devil. But this is where the point comes in, where you have these type of people who do this that are evil. I say with anyone, people tend to, you can say a person is nice or this person is a good person, but if you change the paradigm and you switch their circumstances, you'll really see how people react to turmoil. And some people just can't, an otherwise strong person. That's why I say, you know, regardless, he or she who is in control or masters their emotions has mastered life for the most part. You go throughout life where you're able to deal with this. And obviously he's, you know, 47, probably was, you know, thought everything was good, might have been a narcissist, might have been, whatever reason he was, you know, what was going on with his wife. She decided to file for divorce, not him. And maybe he just couldn't deal with the fact that he was losing his wife. Maybe she might have had a boyfriend. Maybe she moved on. Whatever have you. He just couldn't deal with the fact that he was no longer going to be with this woman. So he devised this plan in his insanity at the time to do this, because he just couldn't check his own emotions. And this happens, you know, like I said, men and women. This guy basically snapped, but he had it planned by this girl not even going to school that day. You know what I'm saying? He basically snapped. There's a story of, and you guys, and I'll have the link in the description so you can see it, of a mother in Texas. There were signs for the father to see. This woman was dealing with mental issues throughout the time being with her. She was hospitalized, you know, all these other things, but he still remained married to her. So one day she said she wanted to have a family meeting with him, you know, and he thought that she was going to announce, hey, I want a divorce, da-da-da-da. She pulls out a gun, shoots both of the kids in front of him, both daughters. They had 2 daughters together. Kills both daughters shoots both daughters in front of them. They go out into the street, as the cops are pulling up, she executes the other daughter right in front of him. And then the cops shoot her dead. So basically, he said that he believes she did that, which was obvious. She did that to make him suffer. You know what I mean? But the woman, there were signs there, obviously, before, because she had all these mental issues. And maybe this man, you know, there could have been potential issues, and I guess she just got tired of dealing with them and decided to divorce him. And then that's when he acted out on some of these things at this point. But, you know, at this point, it's too late. Sometimes you don't recognize the signs sometimes, and these things still happen. They aren't, you know, basically noticeable, but there are these things that you have to come across, i.e. with violence, you know, control and things like that. You know, but this is a prime example, another sad situation, how, you know, people who would otherwise be considered, and I'm not saying you should stay together, people who would be otherwise considered good, upstanding people can resort to being evil people. They say that's what divorce is. It drives good people to be, you see the worst in good people during a divorce. Unlike criminal court and trial, you see allegedly bad people or horrible people being on their best behavior. You know, so I urge anyone, if you're going through something of separation, or you just can't, you're just so angry, or you're just so distraught and things like that, you have to realize that you have to be in control of yourself. You can't control that other person and what they do. You're only in control of yourself. And for you to take the life of your own child, you didn't love your child in the first place. You love this other person more than you loved your child, you know, by executing your own child just to hurt this other person. You know what I mean? Which you obviously succeeded in doing that, but could be at the cost of your afterlife. And you know, you unless you kill yourself right now, you're gonna be living in anguish for the rest of your life as well, behind bars. So these are just things to think about. Control your emotions, control yourself. If you're really feeling like hurting that other person or doing something, get some help, talk to somebody, whatever. You know, there's going to come a time where you're going to part with everyone. You're not going to be with everyone forever. That includes your kids, your wife, your girlfriend, whoever. These people, you aren't with these people forever. So this is just another example for people. I hope you all, you know, everybody can learn something from this. And basically, if you realize who people, if you have friends that are like this or going to an extreme, hopefully you can intervene and help this person out as well, because, you know, at least you try to help these people and help them realize that life goes on at the end of the day. After all this stuff, regardless of how painful it is, if you feel like you're getting to the point where you want to actually inflict bodily harm, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I have to say about this. You know, hopefully you guys liked the video. You know, make sure you hit the subscribe button along with the bell. That way you see the notification. Share this video for anybody. It'll be of help. Make sure you guys add me on social media. The links are in the description. Check me out on Amazon. If you haven't got my books yet, make sure you get them. What are you waiting for? Email me if you got any questions or any topics you'd like me to discuss. And remember, anything lost can be found again except for time wasted. I will catch you guys on the next video. And peace be upon you all in the mercy and blessings of the Almighty. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. I'm out.